We actually planned our wedding in 2.5 months. What's up, you guys? It's your girl Taylor, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, love to see it. If you are returning, what's up, girl? Okay, let's catch up. So, of course, I got married. What? I know. So, I got married, and it is literally the best thing ever. Like, I absolutely love being married. So great. Child, when I tell you God was looking out, he was looking out, honey. And if you're watching this video, then you're probably watching it because you're either about to get married or you're just curious to know like how much weddings actually cost. Okay, let's get into the video. I'm going to break down the exact numbers of everything and how much it spent. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about the wedding before we go into the numbers though. So we had a beach wedding in Jacksonville, Florida, which is where I'm from. We had a very intimate wedding. It could technically, I guess, be considered an elopement because we really just had our immediate family there. So that was essentially the actual ceremony, and then we did have a reception with a couple of other family members after, but the reception had less than 20, had like maybe like 18, 15, 16 people, so it was less than 20 people there, and that just kind of gives you guys like an overview of what the actual day looked like. One thing that I will say is that I personally loved our wedding day. Like, our wedding day was so great. I was literally able to enjoy every single moment. It wasn't like I was feeling rushed. It was super stress-free. It was very relaxing. The marriage is what's most important. The wedding is the ceremony, and it's like the party for the actual marriage. And we really wanted the Holy Spirit to be there, and that's what we were kind of just focusing on, because the marriage is to honor the Lord. So we were trying to make it like very intimate, just very focused on what the essence of marriage really is. Of course, like we've been to like big weddings too, which are great. But for me, like after being in wedding and then also after being a part of like a larger wedding, I was just like, man, like I don't know if I would want this to be on my actual wedding day, which is also why we decided to have a separate reception for all of our friends and family here in Atlanta later on. And I had no bridesmaids, so that was also something that was cheaper too. Like, the wedding day is about, there's so much stigma stuck on like making the wedding about everyone else, but it's about you. It's about what you want to do. So keep that in mind when you're planning your wedding, that the wedding day is about what you want, not about what other people want. There's this other couple that I saw that they basically like booked a flight to Paris, eloped in Paris, and then just took their wedding photos in front of the Eiffel Tower, which were beautiful, by the way. And then they spent the rest of their money just having a month-long honeymoon. As much as I would love to do that, I definitely want my family to be a part of it, like just like your immediate family. So let's go ahead and jump right into the numbers so I can show you guys what we spent. The most expensive thing rather was the actual flowers. So this Excel spreadsheet is titled Wedding Budget. So I have the budget. So we actually spent a total of $5,430 on the wedding. That included the florist, the photographer, and the videographer. So we're going to break down the prices. So the florist was basically $3,500. The actual price was $3,468. When you get married on the beach, you use real flowers. For us, we had to use real flowers. Fake flowers wasn't even an option because of the environment. So you can definitely save money on flowers. I personally am slightly bougie, so I wanted real flowers anyways. We could have just saved money without doing the arch, which I'll post a picture here. But I really wanted that arch, y'all, okay? Like, I just wanted it to be a moment. And there's different ways that you could have, basically, like, we could have, like, cut costs with it. But I was just like, you know what? Like, it's one day. Like, it's beautiful. Like, it's going to be so perfect. Like, this is the actual arch for the flowers. So that was the most expensive thing. I had a bouquet. We had 2 boutonnieres, one for my dad and one for Aspen, and then we also had 3 other corsages. So that was the flowers. So the photographer was $1,600, which I find it to be a really good steal. I think it's a good deal in my opinion, because I'm also like really picky on photos. And I'm also an influencer, so like I just feel like the photos needed to be A1 if I'm going to be posting them, and I want them to be like, you know, in my house forever, in our house forever. So that was $1,600. One thing that we did, so originally it was going to be like more than that. So photographers actually have elopement packages. So if you have a certain amount of people at your wedding, it can count as an elopement, and that's what ours counted as. And we basically only needed him there for the ceremony. We didn't need him there for the reception because your girl brought her own camera, period. And I'm also really picky about like how I want it to be vlogged. Like a lot of the reception was taken on a Polaroid camera, which we loved. We loved because it kind of gave like a vintage nostalgic type of feel. And we wanted it to be very present. And we felt like if you have a Polaroid camera, you can be super present. So that's what we did for the reception. Some of the photos my sister took, well, the actual wedding ceremony with a Polaroid, but it was better inside because sometimes when you shoot Polaroid outside, it kind of gets like, the photo just be looking weird because the flash is just too much. So anyways, that was the reception, was a Polaroid camera in my actual DSLR. So the videographer was actually around $400 because we didn't pay for edits. We didn't pay for color grading. We didn't pay for anything. We just needed someone there for 2 hours to basically film everything and then just hand us the footage later because we wanted to edit the videos. That was that. This was also like, if you don't edit, obviously it's going to be a little bit more money. But one thing that I will say is I'm super picky about editing. I'm very, very, very picky. And there's a certain way that I wanted it, and I just couldn't find a videographer in Jacksonville that was able to deliver the type of video that I wanted. And I know how to edit, and I also know how to film. So that's why I was just like, we'll edit it ourselves. We have time to go through all the footage. Like, and also the packages that I saw online, like a lot of them were just not giving what I needed to have gave for the price that they were asking for, because a lot of it was basically like, oh, you get 10 minutes. I was like, I don't want a 10-minute video with like a lot of space. No. I also wanted the video to come from a certain perspective, and I wanted to be very cinematic and very in the moment. So like, essentially, if you're watching the video, I want you to feel like you're actually there at the wedding. So I was like, we'll just edit it. Okay, so that was $5,430. So the actual venue itself was $400. It was at the beach. Now, my parents paid for this, so that's why I didn't include it. So if we did pay for the venue, it would be $5,800 approximately. But one thing that I will say is the venue, when you get married on the beach, we got married at the naval base. So it was $400. It came with a room to get dressed. It also came with like a bathroom and all that stuff. You don't have to have this. If you get married on the beach, sometimes it's free. And also sometimes some beaches will make you charge for just basically like filming. What do they call it? Like, I don't know. I forgot what it's called, but they make you pay for that. Like, it's a fee for that. I think it's less than $100. So it's super cheap. So for the reception, my parents took care of that. So I'm only guessing what things are because I actually don't know. I will not find out what it is because I just don't have that. I just can't. They're not going to tell me. So I know for a fact that the wedding venue was $400. They did pay for a place for us to have food to get catered. So I'm assuming all in all, it might have been like probably around like $3,000. Not sure. But that's just my guess based on the food, based on the stuff that my mom got, because she got us like a cute little poster and some like trinkets for people to take with them. And then the cake. And then they did pay for our honeymoon night. So because we had Christmas, basically the next day, like when we checked out of the hotel, the next day was Christmas Eve. So we had a honeymoon night. We did not have a honeymoon. We will have that, which me and Aspen will pay for in the summertime probably. But we had a honeymoon night and it was amazing. It was so great. It was just so perfect. So that's basically it. And they did have a car for us too. So like all that cost, I don't necessarily know. But that's why it's so great to have family to pay for those things. So all in all, we had a wedding budget of $8,000 that me and Aspen were willing to pay for. That was our budget for the wedding. We didn't want to go over that because we just felt like we are trying to buy a home too. So like that's what we want to spend our money towards. And Aspen and I are very particular and we are very detailed. So we would have rather had a super high end, I don't even want to say like high end, we would have had like a super high quality wedding and less people so we can enjoy what we like to enjoy. And it's basically like the quality of the stuff that we just really like and expect. So that's what we wanted. If we would have had a full-blown wedding at the quality that it was, girl, it would have been expensive. Like I'm talking $30,000 at least. So next up, I'm going to break down the stuff that I personally paid for, not jointly. So that includes like my dress, makeup, and then also I'm not going to include Aspen's ring. My makeup was $285. Now what I will say is after getting my makeup done, which I loved my makeup, I could have like done my own makeup. Just to be real with you guys, because the one thing that I really loved about the makeup is that it stayed all day long, but that goes down to like a really good primer, right? Or like a really good foundation, which I could have just bought, which would have probably cost me like $60, $70 possibly. It wouldn't have cost me $285. So there was that, which definitely could have been cut down a lot. I didn't want to do my makeup on the day of my wedding. To be honest, it was more of like a convenience and like a stress less thing. So there was that. You could definitely save money with that as well. The group makeup, which I paid for, it was around $400. I could have not paid for that too, but your girl wanted the pictures to be fire. I want everyone to have a very relaxed, stress-free day. And I just wanted to do that. Hindsight looking at it, I probably didn't need to spend money on that. But going into it, I wanted to. It's not something that I totally regret, but if I wanted to save money, I couldn't save money. My dress was $17.50. So here's the thing about dresses, y'all, like, which I realized. So dresses, super expensive. Didn't know that until I was obviously getting married. It reminds me of my pageant days when like stuff was expensive. It's basically that on steroids. So one thing that I will say is I actually got my dress at an outlet. So the original price of the dress was like, I think it was like $2,500 or like $23,000, but save some money there. I felt good about saving money, made me feel great about my purchase. Could I have found a different wedding dress? Possibly, but this is one that I wanted and I was okay with splurging on it. They have some really great dresses for under $1,000. You can look online. There's also like resale dress sites if you are just looking to get something that's gently used. I did try looking on that, but I was really tight on time, so I didn't really have time to go through that. So there was that. Alterations, I believe, were like $175, which I didn't put in here. Actually, it was probably less than that because the only thing that I had to do, I say alterations were probably like $150 because the only thing that I had to do was get it hemmed. I'll get the actual price and put it in the chart so you guys can see. Okay, guys, so that is the breakdown of the wedding cost. Now I'm going to jump into the planning of it because I think it's so important to kind of just go through that. We actually planned our wedding in 2.5 months. We started planning in October and we got married in December. So beginning of October. So we made all of our deposits for the most part before we actually got engaged because we knew what we were trying to do. We got engaged on October 17th and then we started putting our deposits like at the very beginning of October, and we got married on December 22nd. So it is very possible to do this. If you plan on having a ton of people there, probably not the best idea, but we knew it was going to be a very super small wedding, like less than 10 people. So it was okay for us to do that. Someone was actually asking about this. So how do we actually pay jointly, right? You can do it so many different ways, but the easiest way for us to do it was somebody pay the first deposit and then somebody pay the second deposit on everything. So that way everything that you're doing jointly is paid for together. I was on Pinterest a very good amount of time. We essentially just put deposits on everything that we knew would be important to put deposits on. So basically like everything, because we only had the basic things. So the venue for securing the date, we needed the photographer, videographer, and the florist. It was crucially important for us to get these dates in lock because it was around Christmas time as well. So we wanted to be respectful of everyone else's holiday with their family to make sure that we were able to also get like what we actually needed. Also got my dress like a week before we got engaged because time was of the essence, you guys. Like if you're trying to plan a wedding in like less than 3 months, like you have got to start looking for a dress as soon as possible. I got my dress before we paid for all of the deposits on the venue, like photographer, florist, all that stuff, because I didn't realize that you really need to look for your dress like 6 months in advance. So I got mine at an outlet, which was basically as is. But by the grace of God, it fit me like a glove, okay? Like, it was so perfect. But start looking for your dress now, if that's what you're trying to do. And yeah, like, just enjoy the process. Do not make this stressful because it's not. Marriage is a beautiful thing. The wedding is just the party. Let's keep that in mind. Like, when you're planning for a wedding, even though you have your own taste and stuff like that, but this is just to encourage you to not be stressed out about your wedding because it's supposed to be a peaceful day. You're coming into a union with someone that is from God for you. So it needs to be peace and you need to be feeling peaceful, not like, oh my God, what's happening? So yeah, definitely be stress-free, enjoy your day, and I hope you guys like this video. If it gives you inspiration, great. I highly recommend what we did. Obviously, everyone's different. Whatever you want to do, good for you, girl. But that's what we did, and we love it. We don't regret anything. Our pockets love it. We're looking for new things in life. We're saving. So it's a beautiful thing. I hope you guys like this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.